They came like a storm of knives, silent one moment, screaming the next. The earth shook beneath them. Genghis Khan did not conquer cities. He annihilated them. He turned them into ash, bone, and memory. Men were dragged from their homes, skulls cracked open on cobblestones like eggs. Women were thrown down in the dust, used, discarded, and left to bleed out under the open sky. Children were spared, but not out of mercy. They were made to watch their families be butchered, then enslaved. Some cities surrendered immediately. It didn't matter. The Mongols slaughtered them anyway, to set an example. In Nishapur, they killed 1.7 million people. They stacked the skulls into pyramids that towered over the ruins. Rivers ran red, literally. Corpses floated belly up, guts spilling, eyes pecked out, bloated with rot. The Mongols were not men. They were disease on horseback, plague with armor and steel. Some victims tried to run. They slipped in blood, fell into piles of entrails, and were trampled into the dirt. Those who resisted were flayed alive, hung from walls, skin fluttering like flags. They boiled nobles in oil. Eyes burst, skin split open like rotted fruit. Survivors buried the dead with bare hands. Some went mad, clawing at the ground, whispering to corpses. They took prisoners, but not for mercy. They used them as human shields in the next siege. The Mongols used fear like a scalpel. A single survivor would be sent back to speak of the horror. They captured cities that hadn't even heard of them yet, and before a warning could be sent, they were gone. The Mongols didn't just kill, they humiliated. They pissed on temples, defecated on holy texts, and burned entire cultures alive. In Merv, they asked artisans to identify themselves, then slit their throats first to kill the soul of the city. They didn't take slaves to build, they took them to break, to parade in chains and then butcher. The city of Urgench bled for days. Corpses were so thick they formed bridges over canals. In the siege of Herat, entire families were buried alive, fathers choking on dirt, children crushed beneath them. Eyes were gouged out with daggers. Tongues were ripped from screaming mouths. Mercy was treason. In the ruins of Balkh, survivors found a woman impaled through the mouth, her body still twitching. People hid in wells and latrines. When found, they were set on fire while still inside. They didn't spare the animals either. Dogs howled as their guts were cut open. Livestock were butchered where they stood. Some warriors carried sacks of ears. Others wore necklaces of fingers. These were trophies, not warnings. The Mongols didn't see death as cruelty. Death was their language, and every scream, a word. Entire cities disappeared from maps. Not just destroyed, erased. Their names never spoken again. Those lucky enough to die quickly were envied. Others starved, impaled, or eaten by wolves at night. The smell of rot carried for miles. Travelers gagged long before they reached the ruins. Some cities tried to fight back. Their reward? Fire poured from rooftops. Screams echoed until silence fell. Genghis Khan once said, "The greatest joy is to crush your enemies." He meant it, literally. Walls didn't save you. Prayers didn't save you. The Mongols cut through both like wheat. Even nature looked cursed. Trees twisted, fields blackened, rivers clogged with skulls. Some victims drowned in blood, not metaphorically. In Samarkand, it filled the palace steps. Villagers fled to the mountains only to freeze and starve, bones found decades later. By the time word reached Europe, it was too late. The East was already drenched in blood and silence. The Mongols were not conquerors, they were extinction given flesh and purpose. Cities turned into mass graves, cultures vanished, languages died, and the soil remembered everything. This was the savage past. Subscribe. Watch the next one, if you can stomach it.